from Discover the Finger Lakes. And we are starting our month of November. And I am in Arkansas and Oklahoma filming. We are now at Robbers Cave. Now, Robbers Cave is a famous place for, let's say it, Jesse James. And afterwards, we will go to a place, and we mentioned the Vikings last year. We'll be going next in the Heavener Runestone. But first, I want to introduce you to our special guest. You may know him from last year, Uncle Grizzly.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Good to see you.
Now, last year we went to the Spiral Mounds, and together we had a lot of fun, and we mentioned something about Vikings, didn't we?
Yep.
Our next place we're going to go after this will be Heavener. We're going to show you something special there. Also,
and you know, they say that the Viking Leif Erikson was actually in that area.
Did you hear that? That's, yes. So we are going to have a good episode for this month in November. At the end of this episode, I'll leave a link for his YouTube channel. And also, if you remember last year, Gina was with us.
Hi.
And she is accompanying us on this adventure. My wife is not with me, neither is Brady, so we're gonna get this show on the road. And also, I got a special place to show you in Fort Smith, Arkansas. So let's get on with this and hope you enjoy it.
Rock,
Oh.
1876.
Really? Oh my goodness. Oh, now Belle Starr. Now she's really important. She was involved a lot in Fort Smith, if I remember right.
Yes.
I've seen pictures of her in Fort Smith, and it says Belle Starr, who reportedly welcomed outlaw guests to her home, lived in a cabin about 20 miles north of Robbers Cave. On February 2nd, 1889, Belle Starr was murdered near the town of Whitefield, and her killer was never known. Interesting. And this place housed Jesse James and I think the Younger Gang, and I don't know who else, but this was mainly his hideout.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the path we're going to take. See the trail here? We're going to take that trail around and see what has to offer.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here.
Robbers Cave Trail is a 0.9 mile heavily trafficked loop trail located near Wilburton, Oklahoma, that features a river and is rated as moderate. The trail offers a number of activities and is accessible year-round.
It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth of to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
Cave trail that leads to Robbers Cave, believed to be the hideout of infamous outlaws. The area is very scenic. The trail is a combination of the original CCC trail and an easier trail built at a later time. Great views and rock formations. The cave, which you will see soon, is the primary park attraction. The entrance to the cave was a little steep, but it was well worth it. We ran into a couple and their family. Very nice people, asking us about what we were doing, and we mentioned we were filming for YouTube. Now the cave is not very far in. Richard here commented that we are walking in the footsteps of Jesse James, which I thought was a very interesting statement, seeing that I have heard my entire life that he might be an ancestor of mine. Jesse James was a bank robber, train robber, and in the American Old West, best known as leading member of the James Younger Gang of Outlaws. Jesse James was born on September 5th, 1847 in Kearney, Missouri. James and his brother Frank served for the Confederate Army before embarking on criminal careers in the Old West. The James brothers made a name for themselves as bank and train robbers, leading the James Younger Gang. Gang member Robert Ford killed Jesse James in 1882, after which James became a legend of the Old West. In the years preceding Oklahoma statehood, the Wontolla Mountains remained as wild and rugged as the Old West. Heavily forested and lined with hidden caverns and ravines, this area was a favorite hiding place for outlaws and bandits. One such place, Robber's Cave, is known to have concealed the legendary Jesse James as well as other famous outlaws, including the Youngers, the Dalton Gang, the Rufus Buck Gang, and Belle Starr. The Robber's Cave area is strewn with rock outcroppings, topped with massive boulders and surrounded by dense vegetation. Gentle rivers flow into Lake Carton just a short distance away. The main cavern runs more than 40 feet back into the mountain, and at one time clear springs dotted the area.
Look at that beautiful view, everybody.
That is so nice. Now at this point of the trail, we kind of got a little lost. We found the orange painted the paint on a few trees, and it seemed like it disappeared. So we decided going downhill was probably the best option for us. Remember, when you're hiking in places like this, try not to go alone and take a map. I really like this part of the trail. This cavern here, Uncle Grizzly decided to go through this way. And so I decided to go around on the other side to check it out. And getting in wasn't bad, except the crevice was very, very tight. I found it fun and exciting and interesting. Now the trail to the runestone is really, really nice. It is a rock wall, and the scenic areas of this park are here and at an overlook. But I would say that we picked the best time to come because of the fall colors. I would suggest coming in October, mid-October to late October. Now, we mentioned Leif Erikson, and I found this to be very interesting. From 970 to 1020 is when he lived. He was a Norse explorer from Iceland. He was the first known European to set foot on continental North America, excluding Greenland, before Christopher Columbus, if you believe that. I personally do. According to the sagas of Icelanders, he established a Norse settlement at Vinland, tentatively identified with the Norse Ox Meadows on the northern tip of Newfoundland in modern-day Canada. Later, archaeologists' evidence suggests that Vinland may have been the areas around the Gulf of St. Lawrence, and at the site of the meadows was a ship repair station. Now, Gina made a comment when we were coming down the trail, is that this place is old. And it does feel old. The building you see before us is the building that the stone is housed in. And they put the building around the stone to protect it from people and nature. this rock is humongous. There's the top of it, you can see it. And then the bottom of it is like down there somewhere. And there is some writing on this rock. Let me show you real quick. Don't know if you can see it, but there's an X right there. See all the writing? If you can see it there, what it looks like. And that is Nordic rune. In these slides, it shows what each rune stone and rune represents. And it means, the top one for Heavener rune stone means Little Valley. Some say that the runes on the stone predate the Viking era, around 100 to 700 AD, but the Viking era was 750 to 1000 AD. Well, the only thing I have to say is figure it out for yourself. Decide for yourself what you believe. Well, hello. I am at a park that I'm really familiar with. Now, as a kid in the 80s, probably 15, 16, I lived with Dad. And we didn't live that far away from this very park. And we used to come here and fish. And it was a popular place for us, and apparently still is a popular place. And the name of this place is called Caroline Cross Park. It is in the eastern side of Fort Smith, and there is lots of walking, probably running. You'll see geese here. There are fish here, catfish. There's a lot of fish you can fish here for. So, and it's peaceful and quiet. So we are going to go take a look at some of this place, and we hope you enjoy it. The Hazel Evans walking trail makes a 0.6 mile loop around the lake. And one of the nicest parks in Fort Smith, Arkansas. On the east side of town, the park features a small lake, a playground, picnic tables, and a walking path. And paddle boats are available for rent for certain times of the year. I found this little trail just on the outside. Is just a little external trail, but I thought that I would take a little walk in the woods, and I found a nice little scenic trail. Discover the Finger Lakes for November. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we're planning on doing more next year. We don't know where yet, but we'll surprise you, right?
Yeah.
We'll surprise everybody.
Well,
and
heck, it's always a surprise to us what we're doing.
Yeah, that's for sure. So follow me and Brady on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We are Discover the Finger Lakes. And also follow Uncle Grizzly here at
Uncle Grizzly's Country Corner on YouTube.
Yeah, and that's the only place you'll be able to find him. And so we hope you enjoyed what we did this time. It went from, well, whenever I started filming, it went from simple walking to aggressive wall climbing just about. And so, Brady, you missed it.
And then losing the trail.
We did get lost. We lost the trail. So if you come here, be aware. If you do get lost, walk downhill, and you'll eventually find.
Yeah, they said follow the orange trail, like follow the yellow brick road. Well, what do you do when the orange trail disappears?
Yeah.
Go downhill.
Yep, exactly. So you heard it. If you come here, do that. For James Kinney and special guest
Uncle Grizzly and Mama Grizz back here in the back.
Yep.
Hi.
We will see you next month in December, and it's going to be a good one.
Well, he'll see you next month in December, You'll probably have to see me next year, unless you go check out my channel.
Yes, and you should. So thanks for watching.